Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. We are going to be getting right into December. Alright guys, it's ready. I'm ready to do the December readings. It's come to me that I just feel like putting them out a little bit earlier because there's so many different things happening in December, and the end of the year is coming around, and I'm going to be doing end of the year roundup readings as well. And in any case, the spirit moved me to begin working on the December love readings. And we're going to get right into it today with Cancer. Okay. I'm going to be doing these December readings for the signs as the signs come to me. Usually I go by the zodiac wheel and I start with Aries, but this month we're just going to jump right into it. So make sure you hit that notification so that you will be notified when any of these videos premiere if you're cross-watching. But today it is all about Cancer. Now, Jupiter is aspecting Uranus this month. And really unexpected blessings are we expect unexpected blessings, I know it sounds silly, but yeah, windfalls are coming in a lot of areas, whether they be in money or in love. And of course, money and a career oftentimes affects our love life, right? So I find, even though I'm doing love readings, oftentimes a lot of my readings will also have a big portion of what's going on in your life or in your career impacting your relationships. But whatever the case may be, my lovely Cancers, we're going to get right into your Celtic Cross for December. All right, here we go. Now, just take what resonates with you, and please, disregard the rest. If it doesn't apply to you, then this reading isn't for you, okay? A reading shouldn't leave you confused. If a reading leaves you confused, then that reading is not necessarily for your situation. Straight out the gate, we have Ace of Swords. And talking about confusion, Ace of Swords brings clarity. And you have the Queen of Swords covered. In your conscience, you have blessings coming in, wish fulfillments. Make sure this is straight. All right. And at the bottom, you have the High Priestess coming in. Beautiful. You come into this month with another Queen, Queen of Wands, and you round out this month with a Six of Cups. So you enter with a Judgment, which has been coming in for everyone. And you're met with the Eight of Swords. Your hopes and dreams and your fears are death and transformation. And ultimately, you round out the month with the Two of Swords, a decision to be made with clarity. Wow. Okay, so bottom of the deck, we have the Fool. All right, my lovely Cancers. Again, the Fool has been out and about for November and is starting to show up for the December readings, and I'm not really surprised, because the Fool beckons and harkens a new stage in life that you're about to enter into. And it's really taking a leap of faith right now. And also it talks about having a quantum leap in another area of your life where you've learned quite a lot about yourself, where you've mastered something, and now you're starting a new path, and you're once again the student, right? You're once again the Fool. We'll come back to him. All right, so right away, we see quite a lot of heavy hitters, right? A lot of heavy hitters. The queens, the two of the strongest queens, Queen of Swords and Queen of Wands, of course. And then we have the High Priestess and the center card being Ace of Swords. So we talk about, with regard to a love connection. Let's get right into it. Cancer. Ace of Swords talks about suddenly the mind being extremely clear. You're very clear in your head, right? All of a sudden, ideas come to you very easily. You get the answers to a lot of solutions. It's they hit you, all of a sudden, everything becomes sort of very obvious. And you also really cut through a lot of nonsense. Where there were sort of clouds and vagueness and confusion, now there is none. There's just ultimate sort of clarity in a lot of ways, but very mental clarity, even clarity. And you really see with a whole new set of eyes in a way. You see the world very differently, but in a very expansive way. You're receptive to all kinds of information coming in that perhaps you weren't so receptive to before. And you really have a completely different outlook on life. This feels like a victory, right, Cancer? For you, this really feels like a victory. And for some of you, this is the inspiration of a lifetime coming in, a solution coming in that is really setting you on your path. Queen of Swords comes in and she talks about really being honest with ourselves of who we are, and also talks about coming into clarity. And so ultimately, with regard to your love life this month, December, Cancer, we are talking about clearing away any confusion. Wherever there was confusion, there is no longer any more confusion. Light comes into situations. Solutions come in to you this month. Wherever there was a problem before, suddenly it's not a problem anymore. You have like the answer for everything. Queen of Swords also talks about an energy coming in, more energy of clarity, but also being able to sort of the confidence to be who you are. She talks about cutting away the veil that we wear to the world, right? When we're pretending to be something we're not because we're afraid to show the people who we really are in a way, just wearing masks, right? Well, the Queen of Swords talks about revealing yourself to the world. So also there's this feeling of real confidence in the air with you right now, in the sense that you want to lay all your cards down on the table and somebody else wants that from you too. This is a period of real honesty in your relationships, Cancer. Real honesty. But the kind of honesty that brings with it like victory, Excuse me, I had to take a sip of hot chocolate. In your conscious this month, you are resonating with Nine of Cups, which is really a really beautiful feeling of happiness and blessings. I think that part of this Ace of Swords that comes in this month, right? Excuse me. Excuse me. Is some kind of a solution to a problem, and it's your wish fulfillment coming in, right? It's some kind of solution and way of thinking that where before everything was very chaotic, maybe, or confused, like I say, but this kind of breath of fresh air, this kind of clear-headedness, I think it's coming after a bit of struggle, perhaps. This also can indicate open communication. For some of you, suddenly the way to speaking with your lover is wide open, and you're so happy with it here. Nine of Cups talks about blessings coming in. Suddenly, this is the kind of relationship you want. This is the kind of relationship that you thrive on, where communication is wonderful. This is a wish fulfillment. So in a conscious mind, you're focusing on the fact, and you're really thinking about it, about the fact that you're happy with this relationship. This is the type of relationship that speaks to you in such a way that just makes you happy because you feel like you can really communicate with this person. High Priestess is in the back of your mind, and High Priestess brings in a high level of self-confidence and intuition. And that's quite interesting because to go hand in hand with this feeling of Ace of Swords and Queen of Swords, there is a sense of thinking so clearly and having such a control of the mind and of your thoughts, right, that it does border on increased sort of psychic ability in a way, and you may be feeling like your intuition is also heightening at this time. But one of the things the High Priestess also brings with her is learning through experience, right? She tells us, she beckons, the High Priestess talks about, she holds secrets, right? She holds secrets to understanding the true essence of our intuition, metaphysics, the spiritual side of life, the esoteric occult side of life, the mystical side of life, the mysticism in life. She has the key to it, and her path, the path of the High Priestess, is the way to find the answer, but she's not forthcoming with it. The High Priestess doesn't tell you what the answer is, but it is in her essence and in her energy that you learn the answer, if you know what I mean, right? The path to understanding these things is the path of the high priestess. But that's all you know. And okay, so how do we get to it? What do we understand about the high priestess? Well, the high priestess talks about listening to your inner voice. It's really not that much of a secret. But what it is that it's a very difficult path to walk. And so oftentimes people want to be told what to do. They want to have a very quick answer. But that isn't it. And the High Priestess talks about learning through experience and learning through trusting your inner voice, having that initial faith and that initial trust. Because once you do that and you open yourself up to that, you open yourself up to also being wrong at times and learning through that, you begin to increase your self-confidence, and you also begin to increase your intuitive ability. Again, there is no secret or no answer. The answer is in the experience. And you are having one of those experiences right now, Cancer. This month feels like a spiritual blessing month coming into you. And I've said this about November and December, that December will bring spiritual and financial blessings, and also blessings in love, but certainly spiritual and financial as well. And a high priestess comes in and you do feel as though you are being blessed spiritually, because I think that you are, the veil, whatever veil was over your mind or your eyes or your psyche for a very long time, is so clearly cut away. And you feel so confident, you know that what you're thinking is the right way to go. And this feels very much like a spiritual blessing, and also a clarity of mind coming in. A freedom as well with that Queen of Swords. There's a real energy of feeling free in December, being freed from whatever responsibility or chains were holding you, that were causing you to act in a way that is not who you are, or to portray a character that is not who you are. You're released from that also, and that is a great wish fulfillment for you. And so you come into the month with a Queen of Wands, and you've come into this month really prepared for the worst, putting on your game face, right? The Queen of Wands talks about putting your game face on for trials and tribulations. She's the queen who shows up to answer the call when you know you're about to encounter a lot of difficulty. She's the strong queen who comes in and who answers to that, because she learns in those situations and she has what it takes to get through them. However, this is also a transformative period, and so the Queen of Wands comes in knowing that there's something to learn from this period as well. And so Cancer, you are really resonating up higher. Like I say, you have a spiritual blessing coming in. And I think with Queen of Wands, you're really feeling like you are, I think in a lot of ways, you are really sort of soaking up this period. This December period is going to feel like a soaking up of experience, really, and a transmutation of that into wisdom. You're going to feel very present in your transformation this month, Cancer, in a sense that every day that, every day you wake up, you're going to be feeling very present in the moment and very conscious of the changes that are happening to you. You're going to be thinking a lot about the changes that are happening to you, because again, Ace of Swords is in, and so clarity of mind is in anyway, but you're connecting to transformation. So it's going to be really sort of palpable. And you, around the month off, you come out of this period with a Six of Cups, and Six of Cups talks about deepening a connection, building memories. And again, I think this is a connection that you have, a connection with someone, a love connection. I want to say this Ace of Swords brings clarity into your life in such a way that it impacts your love relationship and you're able to carry on. Six of Cups is very happy, and it's a soulmate connection. It's a connection that's been together for a very long time, because the journey towards transformation, number 6, is anyway a long journey. But this revelation, this triumph that you get with this clarity, this comes in, and this new way of understanding that comes in after a long period of being perhaps in the dark, just increases your strength in your relationship. You enter this month with judgment energy. And you're faced with the Eight of Swords. And this is interesting. I'm going to say you are relieved and unburdened here, and there's a wish fulfillment coming true because there was an energy, there was someone in your life, Cancer, that you had a responsibility for, that was a toxic individual, and for whatever reason you felt either a responsibility to them or you had a responsibility to them. And this dealing with this individual was very toxic and had a lot of impact on your relationship. And I think for a very long time you haven't been able to be present in your relationship because of this duty to this person. This could have been even an elderly relative, or it could be a young relative, whatever. It could be somebody you were dealing with. And I say this because you come into the way you're approaching your love life this month, and these energies this month is with judgment, and you are, the energy that comes back to you is Eight of Swords. And this is where I say I feel very much like you have had a guilt or a burden placed on you, a responsibility placed on you that you have felt that you needed to bear. And I believe the responsibility or that burden had something to do with dealing with a person who was very toxic. And that energy and putting up with that has impacted your life. But this clarity has to come in here. Whatever this event is, it could just be the energies that are coming into December that are, like I said, obstacles have been removed in November. And so December starts to bring with it abundance, spiritual and blessings and clarity. And so here with judgment talks about suddenly being able to look at a situation from many different sides and to release some of the over criticism that you've had about a particular situation. This can include also being overcritical about yourself. This can include also like forgiving yourself and really looking at yourself with a bit more objectivity. So releasing, unreasonable sort of over criticism, right? And being able to look at a situation with an open mind, free of sort of prejudice, free of sort of our own kind of small-minded, ego-centric sort of way of valuing situations. Really being able to look at a situation for what it is and truly discern what's going on here. And when you do that, you begin to learn compassion for people and understanding. This all comes through life experience. And again, what did I say earlier? The High Priestess talks about you have to go through life, you have to experience certain situations to learn the lessons that the High Priestess talks about. This is the essence of her, and this is why she beckons you on a path that she can't tell you anything about. Now, judgment comes in, and this is you approach this month with this understanding because you have had a lot of experiences, right, lately over these last few years that has really broadened your way of looking at things. And you're met with this Eight of Swords, and I think you very much see that this person that you've had to be responsible for is toxic. And you start to release yourself from their responsibility, I think. I think you've been releasing yourself from this, and a lot of this, for those of you, if you've checked my November Cancer readings, this is very much a knock-on from some of those readings. Definitely some of those weekly forecasts. Check out the mid-November as well, because I really feel for some of you Cancers, you definitely did a lot of this work of building up to this judgment in terms of being ready to sort of see a situation a little bit differently. And then boom, here in December, we have this clarity that comes in, this ace, this new avenue, this new opportunity to change the way we look at life, to change the way we act and conduct ourselves for a better sort of outcome. And you hope for change, although you're afraid of change, you're hoping for change, but you let go of this. You let go of your own guilt. You let go of this burden for this person who has been really sort of a toxic sort of energy in your life, something that's really been like a damper and everything that's really pulled you back. This is why you're able almost to go back to your soulmate. I think for a lot of you, this situation has been one of the things that has kept you from your soulmate connection. Because up here with Nine of Cups, we talk about being blessed, but the Nine of Cups still misses that deep connection that would take you to the Ten of Cups, right? Nine of Cups is blessings and happiness, but the figure is alone. The figure's not connected to anyone. There's no one there sharing his cups. This is not a Ten of Cups. With all the 9 cards, we have an energy of solitude, an essence of solitude and not really having that deeper connection with someone. But But here, now that you're letting go of all of this, you go right back to your soulmate connection. Could be this was a relationship that you had put on hold for a long time because of this responsibility. Now you cleared away. And so your hopes and dreams are the death card, but also your fears are. That's the same position for your, that position in the spread for the Celtic spread. Hopes and dreams and your fears. So you hope for change and transformation, but you also fear it because you've been so used to a particular scenario. Don't fear transformation. Transformation comes in and there's really nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? When transformation comes in, there's absolutely, when death comes in a sense, and I say transformation is change, death, the death card, tarot card, it doesn't mean physical death. It means a change on all levels. But just like a physical death, it's unstoppable. And this is generally very divinely led. This is all events and decisions that you've taken that have led up to this. So now it's unstoppable. Everything that was put in, everything that led up to this change has already happened, right? So there's no way to stop death from coming in and transforming your life and changing everything. But when you come out of this, it's very interesting. You will have a choice to make, but you'll be able to make the choice. Two of Swords talks about going within to really feel the choice that you have to make, the way forward. And sometimes the way forward is the third choice of balance. When you can't seemingly choose between two options that are equal, sometimes, the character blindfolds herself to go within and to truly find an answer to this scenario. And so oftentimes this card is associated with choice, but it isn't really so much choice, but it's coming to a decision. And the decision oftentimes can be a third way to go, which is finding balance, finding a way to have both things in your life, or finding a way to change that into a situation where balance gets you to your ultimate aim. All right, Cancer, I'm going to pull some extra cards for clarifiers. This is a very nice reading. Definitely spiritual blessings coming in for you this December. Changes, you've let go of a toxic situation, but the change that comes in is really going to be sweeping. You do come closer to your love connection. You do make your love connection, either with somebody you've already been with who has had to wait for you, or who has gone through this period of you coming out of this responsibility, right? Or it will be somebody new, or it will be somebody you've been... It's not really so much... I don't see it as being somebody new, okay? But it may be a new relationship with somebody that you've loved for a long time. So the relationship may be new. Or maybe just starting, but it will be with somebody that you've loved for a very long time, and so the connection has been around a long time. Or it could indeed be with someone you've already been connected to, and it's like you've really had to put your life on hold because of this scenario. But again, here is your triumph finally. Some of you may indeed have just been sort of, stuck in a situation that you didn't know how to get out of because maybe you owed somebody money, or maybe you were stuck in some kind of way, or you were tied down in some kind of way, or you were given an ultimatum, something like that. And for a long time, I think you just didn't find a way through it. And now with the release of so many obstacles in November and so much change, time changes things, and we change, people change and heal and become better in certain areas. But for whatever the case may be, Cancer, this energy of Ace of Swords coming in really solves everything. And it's like, oh, wow, after all these years or months or what have you of dealing with this really difficult scenario, finally, I have the answer. All right, let's pull your clarifiers, and then we're going to call it first reading of December, Cancer, coming out very strong. I love it. All right, let's clarify that 9. Temperance energy. There you go. There's your 2 of Swords coming back out. Magician out of control. And there's your 6 of Swords. Okay, bottom of the deck. 7 of Swords, so futility. Yeah, for a long time it felt really futile. You didn't have the answer. You didn't know how to get out of the situation, but that has changed very much. Temperance has come in, and so yeah, you've had to exercise a lot of temperance in the sense that, yeah, you feel blessed. You feel very, very blessed, but you've had to still temper yourself because there's still been this feeling of missing out on your true lover, your deep love connection. It could be that this responsibility you had was to a relative or family member in some kind of way, and it was a blessing because maybe they took care of you financially, if it was an aunt or uncle, an elderly person, and although it was a heavy responsibility, and perhaps a toxic situation, there was a blessing inherent somewhere, but you were exercising temperance in the sense of real control because yeah, you felt blessed and happy, but it wasn't truly what you wanted because you've been really seeking for a way to get to back to the Six of Cups, this love connection that you really wanted. In the back of your head, High Priestess comes in, and again, you're clarified with Two of Swords. So a lot of this talks about the fact that for a long time you knew you had a decision to make and you've been putting it off, right? And a lot of this is down to the fact that there is a decision that you have to make between two options, or objectives in your life, right? And whatever they are, you will know what they are, Cancer, but it is a choice of either going down one path or another path, right? And it's all about, are you willing to, what is it that you want, and are you willing to work towards it? Or are you willing to say no, perhaps to family responsibilities or some other kind of tie that you have with somebody that's keeping you from your ultimate desire? But in any case, this is, I feel, for a Cancer who has really been waiting for the day to come that they can go closer to their loved one, their twin flame, their soulmate, and now that they have finally found the solution to come out of this sort of almost indentured, I keep hearing the word indentured servitude, it's almost as if you've been, I don't want to say a slave, but it's like you've been tied to something, right? And it was like there was no way out of it. And now that you finally found a way to get out from under this tie, it's like you're finally able to go forward. Here comes the Magician out of control, covering the Queen of Wands. So yeah, of course you've come into this situation expecting the worst and being really prepared for a struggle. Because again, I think you're dealing with some really psychotic energy or some weird energy. I do feel for some of you, this was really the unburdening of some kind of responsibility with a family member or friend who was either mentally disabled or, had some kind of difficulty. It was some kind of responsibility to someone that was very difficult to maintain, but it was a responsibility and there was money involved. Very strange. But again, you were expecting the worst, and so I think you came and brought in your Queen of Wands energy because there is definitely someone that you've been dealing with who has a lot of psychotic energy about them. Magician out of control is somebody who's just, they think they know what they're doing, but they don't. They resonate a little bit with a little tiny neurotic psychotic energy, and you're just like, oh God, this is what I'm, especially if you're dealing with family members or maybe family lawyers or something like that, whatever this tie is. Of course, this comes back to the tie down here. And you come out of the situation with the Six of Swords over a Six of Cups. So we have a lot of sixes, which means harmony. Finally, harmony comes in. Whatever sort of scenario this was that was causing so much disruption in your personal life and in your ability to follow your hopes and your dreams with a lover, it is now well and truly behind you, and you're finally able to move forward with harmony. Six of Swords talks about you may even be able to move away with your person. You may be moving away. You may be physically moving, this is behind you. And this is behind you because you've let it go. And of course, letting it go. And how do you let it go? With this, suddenly this inspiration, this, oh my God, Eureka, I got it, finally comes in. It's blessings of answers and clarity. Blessings of spiritual wisdom coming in, blessings of being let go from situations that have you tied down, and total change coming in. There will be a decision to make, but you're going to have to decide for yourself once this is all said and done how to move forward. But you already know what the decision is that you're going to have to make now. This Two of Swords comes out to just reaffirm that you already know what this decision is going to be. You already have an inkling of it now. Your intuition is already telling you that it's formulating. And this is ultimately going to come back at this end of December period and come right back up for you to finally handle. All right, Cancer, I'm going to leave it at that. This is your December reading. It's been very powerful, beautiful, beautiful reading. Some of you are absolutely able to finally find a solution to a situation that has had you kind of tied in a tie or in a responsibility of some type, an indentured of some type, or a soul tie for a very long time. You're finally able, and this is some of the blessings that I talk about coming in December. But for right now, if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and share. I keep wanting to put this beautiful card over this because I love that Six of Cups, letting you know this is also the energy that you round this December month off with. Okay, it's Cancer. I love you. Don't forget to check out your other readings. And don't forget to hit that bell. Like, subscribe, and share, comment, and I will respond. But for right now, have a wonderful December, and I'll see you middle of the month for your mid-month December love check-in. Bye-bye now.